So I'm making this quick video to talk about an upcoming or a current transit and that's affecting us. It's between Mars and the Sun. Mars is now aspecting the Sun, his fourth house aspect. Now, one of the things to know in Vedic astrology, all aspects aren't turned on all the time, especially those of you who study Western astrology might appreciate this. Where all aspects are always turned on, like everything is always squaring everything else, everything is always trining everything else. In Vedic astrology, that's different. Planets have different aspects. It's actually, the word is called drishti, which means glance and sight. And Mars aspects the fourth house in front of him, which is called the waxing square, where it's waxing and square. And he also aspects the eighth house in front. So 4 houses in front. Here's Mars in Leo. Mars aspects 1, 2, 3, 4 houses, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses in front. So Mars is now aspecting at about 15 Scorpio and 15 Pisces. Jupiter aspects the trinal houses, which are of the same element, and Saturn aspects 3 houses in front and 10 houses in front. So this isn't a lesson on aspects. This is actually to alert you to one that's happening right now that's really important by transit, and that's between Mars and the Sun. Now, transits are most effective when the slower planet is applying to, when the faster planet is applying to the slower planet's aspect. Because what happens is aspects are applying and then they separate. So there's an applying and then a separating aspect. So the aspect is applying when the slower moving planet is moving up to the point of exact conjunction, or to the exact point of the aspect, and then it starts to separate because then the faster moving planet goes past it. And that's happening now between Mars and the Sun. So this is being recorded on November 29th around noontime Pacific. And you see Mars is 1448 Leo. The Sun is 1313 of Scorpio. So the Sun moves faster than Mars relative to our speed. So the Sun is about 1.5 degrees less than Mars in this aspect, because Mars right now is aspecting 1448 of Scorpio. The Sun is 1313. If we advance the time, you'll see on November 30th, Mars is 1514, Sun is 1414, so like 1 degree away. So you see the Sun is gaining ground on this aspect, and then on December 1st, Mars 1540, Sun 1515, and then December 2nd, you see the Sun passes it. Sun is 1616, Mars is 1605. So what this means is that the Sun is now past the exact point of where the Sun and Mars will join through aspect. So this means that between now and actually the last few days, within, if the orb is about 3 degrees or something, Mars and the Sun started this aspect. Let's go back to the exact point. Mars and the Sun started this aspect on say November 26th or so, which was like Saturday or Sunday. You see Mars was 1328, Sun 1011. So for the next couple days and until December 2nd, Mars and the Sun are going to be applying to this exact aspect in Scorpio. So about 15 degrees Scorpio is going to see the unification of Sun-Mars energy. The Sun is going to be there getting the power of Mars as well. So what this shows is enormous possibility in clearing and destroying like emotional pain and trouble and difficulty. It's revolving around Scorpio, which is our imagined fears and those things that we're somewhat, worried about losing psychologically and emotionally. Scorpio is the place where we feel the intensity of our emotional connection to the life force, to our heart, and we're afraid that we're going to lose those things that we love so much, so we exert control and we try to stabilize those feelings. It's fixed water, so we try to stabilize those things that we are emotionally invested in, and that creates stress and a lot of psychological pressure. So busting through that fear and that stress and that attachment will be much less difficult the next few days with the sun there, because the sun illuminates that area of life and makes us take it on and gives us the courage to face it with dignity and in a spirit of a higher purpose, because the sun is really our highest purpose. The sun is the Paramatman. It's the supreme self within that's not really just part of this localized mind-body experience. That's what the sun is. Wherever the sun goes, it's illuminating that area of life through that quality of the supreme self. So the supreme self now is being measured against the stresses and insecurities and fears of Scorpio. And this is why wherever the sun goes, it lights up that area of life and says, you're the supreme self, you're the Paramatman, you're the source of all power, yet you're hung up in this illusion of separation around this Scorpio lesson. And so the deepest lesson here for the sun in Scorpio is that we can sort of ride that emotional intensity straight to the source, beyond all of the play of Maya, beyond all the illusion of the emotions and the illusion of the things that gave us the illusion of emotional stability. There's no such thing as emotional stability. The emotions are not stable. The emotions are up and down. Emotions are waves. Our deeper feeling nature is eternal and never leaves. That the source of emotion is pure love. And so riding the waves of emotion and the emotional intensity to the source, which is that true love, is the Scorpio lesson anyway. And when the sun is there, it illuminates that and brings us into that dignified contact with ourself through that lens, through that intensity and that dynamic. The Mars aspect is infusing that whole process with enormous amounts of courage right now, because Mars is also putting that aspect at 15 Scorpio. And of course, Mars rules Scorpio. Mars is aspecting his own sign and aspecting the sun, passing this important degree right now. Mars is also very dignified in Leo. So this also, the deeper principle here is Mars and the sun are actually exchanging what's called a parivartana yoga. They're actually in each other's signs. So it's not only that you have this aspect, but you have this exchange, which means Mars is in the sun's sign and the sun is in Mars' sign now. So this is an enormous opportunity for the next few days until December 2nd. You can even extend it to, say, maybe December 3rd as the sun starts to separate from that aspect. Enormous possibility. In fact, the whole time the sun is going through Scorpio, there's going to be a lot of potential because of the exchange. But the next few days especially is enormous potential to have great breakthroughs in losing your supreme self to the fear and imagined stress and fear of the emotions. And it's easy for that to happen because, of course, life is an emotional experience, and our most immediate connection to the life force itself is through the heart. And the way we experience that is usually through our emotions and those things that we've become attached to through our heart. Any kind of attachment, whether it's usually to other people, whether it's a relationship partner or a child or a parent or some experience with others that we're afraid we're going to lose, we get all of these imagined fears spinning through our mind in Scorpio. That's what Scorpio is, the sign of needing to strengthen that process. And once we do, we sink into that reservoir of eternal love in our heart. So pay attention to this the next few days. There's enormous growth possible in this whole process.